Hello guys, how are you today? Okay, so I wanted to come to you guys because I was doing a little bit of research and I saw that leftovers could be potentially hurting us rather than helping us have food ahead of time or having leftover Thanksgiving. So after this, you're gonna kind of make a decision. Do I want to keep leftovers? Do I want to get rid of that Thanksgiving food? So it could be potentially hurting you. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. So I always say everything that I offer to you is, research related. Always consult your physician, that kind of thing. So there's going to be 4 things that I'm going to be giving to you as to how leftovers could be potentially hurting you. And I'm going to give you some tips on how you can avoid that, and kind of give you something that's been working for me. So it's going to be like a free thing at the very end, so make sure you stay. Okay, so leftovers, a lot of times either people meal prep, or it's like from a dinner or a Thanksgiving dinner or something that they've had a lot of. And honestly, one of the biggest things is that actually can breed bacteria growth. Bacteria growth is huge. And so if it's improperly stored, then unfortunately, it can give you food poisoning. It can grow the bacteria. Have you ever had like leftovers and you felt like you were having to run to the bathroom? It means that it could be harming like your gut. And so it can cause irritable bowel syndrome, like it can cause that stomach to be like irritated, irritable bowel syndrome type, irritable bowel type symptoms. So bacteria growth is number 1. The second one is reduce in nutritional content. So vitamins and minerals are very important for our body. And I mean, I was a victim of this for many years, meal prepping, vegetables, because I wanted to have my food done, right? So we always talk about having this food made so it makes our life simpler, that kind of thing. So what happens is vitamin C and vitamin B, which you're going to find in a lot of foods, especially like healthy foods like vegetables, that kind of thing. You're going to find that when you are keeping them in the fridge and using them in leftovers, it actually can reduce the nutritional content of the item that you have in there. So vitamin C and B are super sensitive to heat, and they're super sensitive to oxygen. Okay. So when it's exposed to like reheating, it actually can, if it's reheated multiple times, it can actually reduce the nutritional value that you would be getting when you normally first have it. So like vegetables, because I know a lot of people pre-make their vegetables so it's already ready to go. So it can, the gut really requires the nutrients to work properly. And so when we are doing that, it reduces the nutritional content. So this is all crazy. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I don't know why I didn't really think of this or realize it. The third thing is it actually can form toxins. Okay. So for example, like, I used to meal prep rice. Like, I love rice. Now I just get the instant in case, for this very reason. Rice can actually have spores on it, which is like a bacteria. I mean, the scientific name is Bacillus, okay, which is a bacteria. Well, it's actually caused by toxins being in the fridge. The spores can survive with cooking. And so when you're putting it in the fridge, and it's already got those spores on it, we already know that it can cause bacteria growth. So what happens is you can also have food poisoning symptoms, irritable bowel, like we're talking diarrhea, crampy tummy. It causes a huge disruption in the gut. Whenever you have any bacteria growth or any stress on your gut, it's going to cause gut issues. So it's going to be disruptive to your gut. And so it's going to play with that bacteria, the good bacteria that you have in there, right? And then the last thing is it can actually cause food sensitivity. So if you have any sensitivity to dairy, gluten, or nuts, or you're eating something that is has nuts, dairy, or gluten in it, and you're reheating it and you have it as a leftover, it actually can trigger or it can worsen food allergies. Okay, food allergies. So like we're talking about, again, irritable bowel syndrome symptoms, gastro issues. Again, it's that bacteria growth. It's going to hurt the gut, right? So those are just one of many things that, reheating and overusing your food can harm you, right? So what should you do to prevent that? Now, nothing is 100% preventable, right? Yes, Sherry, I know, right? So, and Maria says, I never knew this. This is crazy. I know. How many of you guys still have your Thanksgiving leftovers? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy. So a couple of things that you can do to help prevent it. Now, again, nothing is 100%, but leftovers, it's best to let the product cool, right? The food to cool. So then you can refrigerate it. Okay. So one of the things that I did read is that a lot of times when people like meal prep or they make their food and then everybody's done eating, they put it into a into a Tupperware or whatever. When you put like a Tupperware or leftover food into the refrigerator that is hot, it can actually cause your refrigerator to, it can cause your temperature to go down in your refrigerator, which can affect all the other things like your milk, your dairy, your butter, any vegetables you have in there. It can cause them to, grow bacteria. So you want to let it cool down before you're putting it in there. Okay. The second thing is make sure you're storing it correctly. Make sure it's airtight. You want to make sure that you're storing your leftovers in glass or BPA free. Okay. So, and I'm a firm believer of not warming it up in plastic. Plastic is so bad. It can get onto your food, can cause other health issues. So make sure whatever you're using is airtight and that you're storing it correctly. The other thing with storing it is make sure you're labeling it. A lot of times, like we go in our fridge and we're like, how long has that been in there? Like, I'll say to my husband, when did we eat that? Like, because I'm horrible at that as well. So just knowing when your storage guidelines are. So that's the last one. So a lot of times, the average, again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm giving you guys some research that was done, is that approximately 3 to 4 days is what they recommend, right? Now, when you're dealing with like dairy and you're dealing with like seafood, it's going to be different too. So you want to be an advocate, you want to research that, you kind of want to see kind of what's going on. So I, for one, am a huge victim of leftovers, especially like when you're bringing that food home, right? You're bringing that food home and you're thinking to yourself like, oh, I'm going to eat that, or you know what I mean? Like it's mashed potatoes or seafood. You go to Red Lobster. And so, a lot of people just say, oh, it was rich food, right? Oh, I'm not used to eating rich food. Well, that can be the case too. People are like, oh, I'm not used to rich food. And, oh, that kind of thing. That is a point too. but a point as well. But sometimes it's because of that bacteria growth. It's just, it's targeting the gut, right? So obviously I've taken those factors to kind of avoid, but one of the things that I do for like an insurance policy is I actually found like this hydration that I take every day to kind of help balance my my gut. And so some of the ingredients that I saw that are really good, because I did research ingredients that help with kind of keeping that gut rounded. Obviously, a probiotic is going to be important. That's the first thing you want to look for, is a probiotic. The second thing you want to look for is something that's going to help maintain your hydration, because hydration is one of the biggest leading causes of gut health as well. And again, this is just research. I'm not a scientist. So what I was looking for was something that had vitamin B1 in it. So vitamin B1 actually reduces inflammation in the skin and in the gut, right? So vitamin B is really important. Vitamin B6 is huge because it helps with hormonal balance. So those of you women who are going through menopause or premenopause, or if you're just a woman in general, you're going through hormonal imbalances when you have your period, if you start a new medication, anything that disrupts your body is going to cause hormonal imbalance. Maybe you just had a baby. Maybe you just went off of birth control. Maybe you went in on birth control. Anything can cause hormonal imbalance. And so vitamin B6 helps with your metabolism and how you are digesting carbs, fats, and proteins, right? So you have to make sure that that's in sync in order for your gut to properly digest that, to reduce that gut health, right? That leaky gut. You want good gut health. If you're not familiar, like people refer to leaky gut, that means like bad bacteria. Your gut is all screwed up. You're having those irritable bowel symptoms. You're having the diarrhea. You're having all that stuff. And so the other ingredient that I was really shocked, because I use it for my skin every day, is hyaluronic acid. So I've never really drinking my skincare, and I don't mean like go take your hyaluronic acid and drink your serum. I'm talking about finding it in like something that has hydration in it. And so it has hyaluronic acid in it. And hyaluronic acid, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a sponge. It's a sponge for moisture. It's a sponge for water. So when you use it on your skin, it causes your skin to retain moisture, which is going to help you with anti-aging, right? So when you are drinking that and it's ingested, it's going to cause your body to just absorb all of this hydration. And so remember, I said one of the biggest things was your body having a hydration along with the vitamins, right? So if you're losing those by chance, if you have leftovers or whatever, you're replacing that. You're giving your body that hydration. You're adding that B1. You're adding that B6. And so it's like basically a sponge for that hydration, and it's going to help you properly hydrate. So especially if you do have that leaky gut and you're having that diarrhea, you really have to make sure that you are hydrating yourself. You're getting your electrolytes up. I do not like Propel. I do not like Gatorade. I do not like IV, liquid IV or whatever it's called. Those have synthetic fillers in it. They've got like aspartame. They've got like Red 40 in it. Those are all things that lead to like behavioral issues. Like that's another story. But I wanted to find something that didn't have artificial sugars, but had these goodies in it, right? So again, we have B1, B6, hyaluronic acid. And then the other thing that I was really interested in when it came to for like gut health was baobab fruit extract. Now I use that on my skin every day, every night. And I was really I was really taken back at what it actually can do. So Baobab helps with inflammation on your skin, anti-aging, all that fun stuff. Well, Baobab fruit extract actually helps reduce the oxidative stress in your body. Okay, so obviously it's going to do that to your skin. So why wouldn't it do to the inside of your body? So it's reducing that inflammation. So again, I'm saying in my hydration that I take every day, replacing my electrolytes if by chance I have gotten something that's disrupting my gut. And no matter what people say is, oh, I eat this and this doesn't hurt my gut. Everybody has gut issues. Like, I don't care who you are. There's something somebody has eaten that has gut issues, or, you don't even know you have leaky gut. So it's really important that you're properly hydrating and looking at those ingredients. The other thing that I was struggling with was cognitive issues, like focus, alertness, hormonal imbalance, which we talked a little bit about. I was really struggling with that. Now, that comes too with having gut issues, leaky gut. Not everything. Again, I'm not a doctor. This is research, okay? So one of the other reasons for, reducing focus, sharpness, alertness, hormonal imbalance, which we talked about earlier, is cognitive issues. So hormonal imbalance. So one of the things that I saw, and I was like, hey, I'm going to research this ingredient, and it's L-theanine. And so you'll find that in a lot of like amino acids. And it actually is part of brain function. So brain function as in like it reduces your anxiety, and so it increases your calmness. So what that means for you as somebody with gut issues or leaky gut issues is that it's going to reduce that anxiety and stress. And so what that's going to do is that when you have increased anxiety and stress, it disrupts your gut. Your gut is basically everything that helps to run your body as a power machine, right? So if that's not working properly, you're not digesting properly, you're not focusing properly, you're not digesting properly, you're not focusing properly, you're not functioning properly, your bowel movements it's everything. It's like pretty much this circuit here that's causing everything, whether it's going to work properly or not work properly, right? So it's going to reduce that stress. It's going to increase that calmness, which also prevents the gut from being disrupted. Okay, so the other thing is that B6, which we talked a little bit about before, it helps with hormonal balance. So hormonal imbalance causes gut issues, which we talked a little bit about. So the other thing that you can be a sign, not all of it, is if you're struggling with like acne issues, adult acne, cystic acne, if you're having multiple breakouts during your period, that can be a gut issue, along with, like skincare, all that stuff, genetics, but it can be a gut issue. And some people who get their guts running properly, they'll notice a reduction in acne production, oil production. So that has a lot to do with it too. The other thing that I was taking and I didn't realize it was ashwagandha. Ashwagandha actually reduces stress as well. And so it makes it more favorable to your gut when you have, again, that reduce in stress. But it makes the environment of the gut more favorable, meaning that you're going to have good bacteria. You're not going to have that irritable bowel. You're not going to have, any of the leaky gut or the stress or the anxiety in it or the inflammation. So it's really going to help with that reducing of stress. The other thing is, let me think of what the name is. Leacheth actually is what controls, doesn't control, but it helps with metabolism and weight management in your body. And so when you are not producing that, you have to put that back in, because it's going to increase stress, and we want to get that down again, because it enhances your belly fat. When you have gut issues, it enhances your belly fat. It enhances your ability to not lose weight, because it reduces that metabolism. It reduces the carbs and the fats and how you metabolize them. Remember, we talked a little bit about that with the B6. So it all like coincides together, right? And so the other thing was Atlantic sea kelp. Atlantic sea kelp actually is, your iodine is actually disrupted, and that has a huge thing to do with gut issues, leaky gut, is iron deficiency or iron disruption. And so iron disruption affects your thyroid function. When your thyroid isn't working right, you're not digesting, your metabolism is down, you can't digest fats, carbs, and proteins as you should. So, people are struggling with thyroid function. I struggled with thyroid function when I'm pregnant, and so that's a gut issue, right? Things that I had no idea about before I started really researching it. And when your thyroid is intact, you're regulating your metabolism, your hormones are in balance. You've got, it really, what's the word I'm looking for? It really regulates your hormone secretion. So those of you women who are struggling with hormonal imbalance, thyroid, all that stuff, it all like has this vicious cycle. So like I said, one of the things that I really focused on was finding a good probiotic to take daily to make sure I'm putting that good bacteria back in there. But like I said, I looked for really good hydration that had vitamins, but it has skincare in it, because skincare also helps. Now, I didn't take it and I didn't dump it in there. It came with it in there. So it was something that was, that I could consume, right? And so I've noticed that it's helped with my energy. It's helped with my recovery, with working out. It's helped with the fact that it has regulated my bowel movements. I don't feel like sometimes that I have to like run to the bathroom, because I had like irritable bowel symptoms quite a bit. Like even with vegetables, like I had the bloating with the vegetables. So it's really helped reduce that. But cognitively, I started using this one little pill thing here that has helped, and it has that Atlantic sea kelp, it has the B6, and it has the L-theanine, the lecithin, it has the Atlantic sea kelp, all that stuff, the baobab. So not only is it helping with my skin, but it's helping with that hormonal imbalance, because it's reducing that stress and giving me that calmness, because I also struggle with anxiety and depression. So it's really helping with that and focusing on that. So I have noticed a huge change. Again, I'm not a doctor. It's just my personal results. I have noticed a huge change in my gut, how I'm processing things, my weight loss, because everybody's like, well, how are you losing weight? Well, I'm getting my gut together. The gut is what helps you have your hormones in balance, what helps with you process your fats, proteins, and your carbs. It's, again, all this vicious cycle. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to share one of these hydration packets that I have been loving. Again, it's not Liquid IV or Gatorade or any of that. It has all those synthetic things. So if you want to get in, I'm giving one of these away. So if you want to get one of these, make sure that you comment below, and then I will do a giveaway at the end of the day, or I'll do a giveaway in 24 hours since you guys are seeing me at nighttime. And so you can get into that giveaway. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I love my wellness tips. And so again, I'm just curious if you've ever struggled with leaky gut. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon.